Welcome to the latest video, and in this video short, well, what we're excited to announce is the publication of the Six Sigma Black Belt Handbook. 400 pages of golden advice on how to become a world-class black belt and earn double your normal engineer salary, because that's what being a world-class problem solver is all about. This is a how-to book. It's not a statistics book. So you are going to become a brilliant engineer. If you buy this book, you are going to become a brilliant black belt. Go to lulu.com and look for the Six Sigma Black Belt Handbook by Paul Allen right now. Welcome to Lean Lesson 7. And in this video, what we're going to talk about is standard work for delivering parts onto the shop floor. Okay, so feeding the people that make money. So you're feeding the shop floor. Okay, so parts feeders. Feeding the money makers. Now, a key thing about feeding the money makers. Never let the money makers feed themselves. They make money. Why would you stop them? Why would you interfere with them? So standard work for this. Key point. First of all, isolate the waste. Isolate the waste into one person or one activity. So it could be a couple of people doing this depending on what the work content is. But what you're trying to do, delivering parts, of course, is just motion. It's one of the 7 wastes. Could be transport if it's big enough. But you're just moving parts around the factory. There's no value from the customer's point of view. You're not transforming any of the components at this point. So what you want to do is you want to take this waste away from these people and isolate it in one person. So one person's 8-hour task is all waste. Then what you can do, because it's one person's task, you can optimize it. So you isolate the waste in one person. Then, how does this person work? Well, what they do, you create what we call a milk round. You create a milk round. So, of course, what is this? We are back to talking about standard. This is standard work for the way that they feed the parts. So typically what you're going to have is people working at, I'm just going to draw these in different places to make the point. They're going to be working at work cells. You're going to have a parts feeder who's going to be feeding parts to these people. And obviously what they're going to do is they're going to disappear off. They're going to disappear off to the warehouse to get the parts. The way they do this is through a milk round. Now remember, standard work. It's going to be fixed time, fixed route. Fixed time, fixed route. So the parts feeder goes at a fixed time from workstation to workstation. Now obviously you can make sure this is the shortest route because it's standard work. So they're always doing the most efficient activity every time they do it. So fixed route. They are collecting signals because of course at all the workstations, what have you got? You've got min-max on all the workstations. fixed location, fixed quantity. We've already talked about that as standard work. Then they walk into the warehouse. They go through the warehouse and they pick the parts that they've identified. And then, of course, what do? They go back and deliver the parts. And of course, as they deliver new parts, they'll get new signals for more material. They'll go to the warehouse and pick the material, and you create a repetitive milk round. Fixed time, fixed route. Key point. When you organise the warehouse, of course, how will the warehouse be organised? Well, at the bottom, easy to get in all of the warehouse racks. This will be the runner product, the runner product, the runner material, the material that gets picked the most. So now what you've got is standard work, standard route, standard work. It's a set time. Maybe it's on the hour. Every hour, bang, we do a parts feeding activity. Then when you go into the warehouse, you have standard work for the warehouse location, the most efficient layout for the warehouse location, the easiest to pick, standard work. So now you've isolated the waste into one person. You've created a milk round, a repetitive delivery system. And now you can optimize the waste. You can make the waste be as small as you possibly can. If you let this be a random activity, random deliveries, random amounts, random locations, and then you say to somebody, how do we improve this? The parts feeder will just go, I don't know, I'm doing my best. I just deliver parts where everybody asks me to. That's not what you're going to do. What you're going to do is this. This is the centerpiece of lean. This is what makes lean so productive over any other system. You form a standard, you evaluate it, you improve it. You lock in the standard, you evaluate it, you improve it. And before you know where you are smashing your competition out of the water. Standard work for feeding the money makers. Create yourself a milk round.